Rishi Sunak has good reason to be annoyed with Zahawi because Zahawi has forced his hand. So Sunak is compelled to replace the party chairman. Compelled. And he's doing this rather sooner than he wanted to. He would, I'm sure, have much rather dealt with Zahawi's, the Zahawi question at the same time as dealing with Raab. Raab is someone he needs to treat very carefully because Raab represents a very significant and vocal faction, an increasingly vocal faction in the Conservative Party, in this party that is falling to pieces as we watch. And so it doesn't really matter what sort of movement Rishi Sunak has made, what sort of reforms he's made to departments. He's going to have to do it all again in a couple of weeks or a couple of days whenever the report comes back on Raab. Now, what he should have asked, what he should have established, was not whether Raab was a bully. That isn't a reasonable question. That's a question which, unfortunately, lends itself to a lot of toing and froing about interpretation. Whereas the Zahawi thing, it's a cut and dried issue. Is there a paper trail? Yes, there is. Good, that's sorted out. Or bad, that's sorted out. With Raab, it's much harder. More than that, with Raab, he can always turn to the Priti Patel precedent and say, well, doesn't matter if I'm a bully. Boris would have let me stay. And Sunak may not have an answer to that. My sense is that Sunak will realise that the public simply will not tolerate a Priti Patel response. And probably in order to disguise Raab's going, he will have to get rid of other people and move things around even more. We can only hope that his eye falls on Suella Braverman at last, but I suspect it won't. I suspect it won't. So he's now got Grant Shapps in the Department of Energy Security. I'm not quite sure what that means. And net zero, extraordinary. And Ed Miliband will be shadowing him. That would be great fun. It's always fun to hear Ted Miliband on the front benches. He's got better and better out of office. Better and better. He was always articulate, and I think not being constrained by the top job in his party has opened him up in a way that that I didn't expect. I still long for the return of his brother. As for Greg Hands, well, he's sort of insignificant, really. The key player here who's been appointed to a job is Kemi Badenoch, the Trade Secretary, and seeing her portfolio expanded. Lucy Fraser, who I've just written to, she'd previously been the housing minister, and before that she'd been one of the people working with Raab in the justice ministry. So I'm sure she has a tale to tell. But I think it's Kemi Badenoch where all the attention will be directed. And Kemi Badenoch is a very interesting character who is determined to create a fuss and create an image. I think she's a very intelligent politician, but I think she is potentially going down the wrong route, and that would be, well, I think that is a shame. She can do better than that. But I fear she won't. She's pandering to the right wing of the party, and the right wing of the party may curry favour for a short time. In the end, it is doomed to failure.